This story is about how the Ruble family came to Missouri. I have been researching our family history, and this is what I've learned. As with many things, the more questions you answer, the more you raise. My research has been mostly online. However, I did have help from my friend Andre, who lives in Germany. Thank you, Andre. I did find out there are many spellings of the name Ruble. In Switzerland, the name is spelled Rubeli, R-U-B-E-L-I. In Germany, our name is spelled Ruble, R-U-B-E-L. And in America, it is the spelling I use, R-U-B-L-E. The spelling seems to change during immigration to different countries. From what I've learned, this was common as the immigrants did not speak the language, so many names were spelled just as they sounded. Another difficulty I ran into is there are many Peter Rubles throughout our history. This made it somewhat confusing to track down our ancestors. I will probably mispronounce some of the location names. I will type the text with proper spelling in the bottom of the screen. There are still lots of Rubles in Bavaria. My friend Andre sent me this picture from the German phone book. Donna and I visited Bavaria in 2022, but we were unable to track down any of them. However, we did visit the town where Peter Ruble was born. You will see video of this later. The earliest generation of our line I can find starts in Switzerland. In Switzerland, our name is spelled Rubeli, R-U-B-E-L-I. We start with Wilhelm Rubeli. He was born in 1560 in Laufen, Dachsen, Zurich, Switzerland. I could not find much information on him. His date of death is unknown, but he did pass away in Germany. He married Ursula Meister in 1585. She was born in 1564 and died in 1611. Their son, Johannes Jacob Rubeli, is the next in our line. He was born in 1580 in Langnau, Bern, Switzerland. This town is located in the beautiful Emmental Valley. The Emmental is a valley in west-central Switzerland, forming part of the canton of Bern. It is a hilly landscape comprising the basins of the rivers Emme and Liffes. The region is mostly devoted to farming, particularly dairy farming. The principal settlements are the towns of Bergdorf and the village of Langnau. Our family member, Doug Berry, visited this area. The pictures you are viewing he took on his visit. It looks like the essential Swiss village. Jacob died in Aschlen, Obersee, canton of Bern, Switzerland. I am not sure of the year. He was married to Elizabeth Gingrich. She was born in 1585, not sure of her date of death. One of their children, Johann Christoph Rubeli, is our next ancestor. He was born in 1615 in the same place as his father, Bern, Switzerland. He died in 1700 in Ludwigsburg, Baden-Württemberg, Germany. He was married to Anna Magdalena Müller. She was born in 1620 and passed away in 1680. Around this time, the Rubeli family moved to Germany. They were Mennonite and being persecuted for their religion in Switzerland. Johann Peter Ruble most likely moved to Bavaria, Germany, with his father Christoph. They settled in an area known as Messerschwanderhof. The Messerschwanderhof is located in Bavaria, Germany. This area dates back to 1195. The name comes from Metzel's Schwanden and points to a clearing from the Frankish time. The area has a rich history. In 1671, Christoph and Anna Rubeli immigrated from Switzerland to the Messerschwanderhof, along with 6 of their 8 children. One of those children was Johann Peter Ruble. He is the first one in our family with the spelling Rubel. He was born in Luperswil, Canton of Bern, Switzerland in 1660. He died in Bavaria, Germany in 1725. He married Anna Schemelhofen. She was born in 1665 and passed away in 1770. Once again, the Rubles, along with many others, were persecuted because they were Mennonite. They were only allowed to have one offspring live in the area where they were born. The others were required to move away. Because of this, many people moved from Germany to America in the early 1700s. Hans Peter Ruble was born February 14th, 1684. He is the first of our lineage born at the Messerschwanderhof in Germany. He died in 1750 at the age of 66 in Frederick County, Virginia. He married Elizabeth Steiner. She was born in 1690 and passed away in 1740. Hans Peter must have moved to Staudock-Egerndorf, a small town in Bavaria, before immigrating to America. I'm not sure why he moved there. It could have been because the government requirement that only one Mennonite child could live where they were born. Also, he married Elizabeth Steiner, and there are many Steiners in the Staudock-Egerndorf area.
Well, here we are in the town of Staudock-Egerndorf in Bavaria. This is the town, from what I can tell, that Peter Ruble was from. Everything I read showed him being from this town. Now, whether he was born here, or he just lived here for a while, or this happened to be where he was living when he immigrated to the United States, I don't know. But this town is located in Germany, in Bavaria, at the foothills of the Alps. There's a big valley here, and there are a lot of different villages here. The villages kind of run all together. But this little village has a church. We walked through the church. Of course, we didn't see any rubles there, but that's not a big surprise. But it's a beautiful place to be. I mean, I can see why the Rubles like Vulcan, Missouri, because this is an area that looks very much like Vulcan. The hills are much taller, but it's a green valley with hills in the area, very wooded, very green, just a beautiful place. We've been here a couple days. We spent some time. The people are very nice. But again, this is Staudock-Egerndorf, and I'm not sure that I'm pronouncing that right, but it's as close as I'm going to be able to get. And I believe this is the town where Peter Ruble was from.
Peter Ruble was born in 1720 in Bayern, Staudock-Egerndorf, Germany. His brother Ulrich was also born there in 1710. He died March 15, 1773, in Cordurus Township, York, Pennsylvania. He married Anna Mueller in 1739. She was born in 1718 and passed away in 1809. They immigrated to York County, Pennsylvania on September 21, 1742, due to religious persecution. He is buried in Ruble Schwartzel Cemetery, Lock Mills, Mifflin County, Pennsylvania. He had 6 children. One was Matthias Ruble. On September 21, 1742, on the ship Francis and Elizabeth, which landed in Philadelphia, came Peter Ruble. This Peter Ruble is the ancestor of our line. At the State House in Philadelphia, the following is recorded. Present William Till, Esquire. The foreigners, whose names are underwritten, imported in this ship Francis and Elizabeth, George North, master, from Rotterdam, but last from Deal. Then appears a list of names. The 7th name listed is Peter Ruble, in the records collected by A.M. Ruble, Boston, Massachusetts, 1881. Peter Ruble settled on a farm in Cordorus Township, York County, Pennsylvania, a few miles from Hanover. A receipt on file dated September 10, 1750, showing that he took up 100 acres of land between Peter Stambach and Hans Erich Miller, for which the receipt says he paid £5 in part. Peter Ruble had 4 sons, Matthias, Peter, Christian, and Abraham. Matthias, the eldest son, settled on a farm near Lewistown in the end of the Mifflin County, Pennsylvania area. Matthias Ruble was the first of our ancestors to be born in America. He was born December 9th, 1744, in York County, Pennsylvania. Matthias fought in the Revolutionary War. He died September 12th, 1817, Lock Mills, Mifflin County, Pennsylvania. He married Anna Elizabeth Hoffman in 1763 in Germany. She was born in 1746 and passed away in 1819. My dad, Jim Ruble, and I visited York County, Pennsylvania in 2005. Dad had found a relative, Louis Ruble, who could get us to Matthias Ruble's grave. We visited with him at his home, then all piled in our car and we were off. We traveled from paved road to gravel road to dirt lane, leading up to an Amish farmhouse. The people who lived in the house were very nice and told us how to get to the cemetery. It was a small family plot located on the farm. We hiked through the woods and found the cemetery and Matthias Ruble's stone. It is my understanding that Peter Ruble is also buried there, but his grave has no marker. Matthias's son, John Edward Ruble, is the next in our line. He was born in 1770 in Mifflin County, Pennsylvania. He married Martha Magruder in 1788 and moved to Washington County, Tennessee that same year, where they both died in 1849. They had 8 known children. 2 of them were Joseph and Peter. They married sisters in Tennessee and then moved to Missouri. I'm not sure why they moved to Missouri. It was a long-distance move, approximately 550 miles, and they had to cross the Mississippi River. Traveling in a horse and wagon, this would have been a difficult journey. Joseph Ruble was born June 6, 1797, in Tennessee. He died April 15, 1854, in Iron County, Missouri. He married Stacy McCrae on March 15, 1823, in Greene County, Tennessee. She was born July 15, 1797. They moved to Iron County in 1823 and settled in an area that will become Vulcan. The original family homestead is currently owned by Cub and Pat Ruble. We visited with them in 2022. 2023 will be the 200th anniversary of the Rubles settling the original homestead.
My name is Kenneth W. Ruble, also known as Cub Ruble. I was raised here on this place. My dad was Earl Ruble, which was Thomas Ruble, was his dad. And it goes all the way back to Joseph, who originally came here from the state of Kentucky, or Tennessee. He moved here and settled this. Now, the way I understand it, at that time, you just came in and pull your team up to wherever you was going to stay, and that's, you settled it. That was yours. Then later on, in 1854 and 1856, he filed under the Homestead Act, and he got 80 some acres. It's an odd number, each time he filed 3 of those. In '56 he filed 2 more. And I've got the original documents signed by President Pierce for those. Now that was under the Homestead Act, not settled. The settled is what Joseph done. He came here and settled it. And there wasn't much at all here, apparently. He built a cabin right down here by the pond, just on this side of the pond. And that's where he raised his family. They started clearing this land up and somehow made a living on it.
Peter Ruble was born 1801 in Washington County, Tennessee. He died June 19, 1871 in Iron County, Missouri. He married Axie McCrae February 10, 1823 in Greene County, Tennessee. She was born in 1801 in Greene County, Tennessee. She died in 1870 in Iron County, Missouri. We visited with Pete Ruble at the original Peter Ruble homestead in 2022.
Behind me, about 50 feet, was the front of the original Ruble house built by Peter and Angeline Ruble in the 1890s, I believe. Anyway, they raised their family here. My grandpa was born in the front bedroom of that old house. And then my grandpa and grandma ended up with this place. And my dad was born in the same bedroom that my grandpa was born in. And they both died in that same house, my grandpa and my dad. But anyway, we lived 100 yards across the garden here, across the field, is where Mom and Dad had a little 3-room house. And when I was born in 1947, they said that they was building on, it was a 2-room house, I'm sorry, they was building on the first bedroom. The day I was born right here behind me in that house. But they was building of the first bedroom on their house over across the way. And later, when I was about 5 or 6, we built our second bedroom on, and we had 2 bedrooms and a living room and a kitchen over there, and like 8 kids. But Grandma and Grandpa lived here in this house, and Grandma died in 1960, Grandpa died in 1963, and we moved then over here. And so I was 15 years old when we moved into this house, and we lived here. Mom and Dad lived here until Dad died in 1982. And after Dad died, a couple years after Dad died, Mom remarried and married a wonderful man, Jim Clark, and they moved off the farm. My brother Jack then bought the original farm from Mom and Dad, but he only had it for a couple of years, and he was traveling a lot, and he decided he wanted to sell it. He offered it to any of the rest of the family who might want to buy it. None of us at that time thought we was interested. None of us couldn't afford it, for one thing, and we wasn't interested. Later, I've kicked myself 1,000 times for not somehow figuring out how to buy this place. But nevertheless, Jack sold the farm, and that's when it left the family. And that was around 1986 or 87. And the people that bought it has built a new home across the road in the field. Chuck Adams, a wonderful fella. Chuck's daughter and her husband and family live right behind us here, and so they were gracious and allowed us to come here today, and I told them what we were up to. So anyway, that's the story of this place. This cemetery was originally part of the original homestead that my great-grandfather, Peter Ruble, came here, and my grandfather, Albert, they had 10 kids. One of them was my grandfather, Albert, and this is the farm that we grew up on. And there was 120 acres here when I was growing up. There's really nothing left in the Ruble family of the original homestead except this cemetery. It was set aside by my great-grandfather, Peter.
Vulcan and Gads Hill are 8 miles apart. This was a considerable distance in a horse and wagon. No one really knows why the two brothers, who were married to 2 sisters, settled so far apart, but the families distanced themselves from each other for many generations. According to Jim and Pete Ruble, who grew up in the Vulcan and Gads Hill areas, each family group was aware the other existed, but did not visit or socialize. We may never know the real reason the families did not spend time together, but in the spring of 2022, both clans of the Ruble family came together and the feud was over. Henry Ruble was born January 24th, 1824, in Washington County, Tennessee. He must have traveled with his parents when they moved to Missouri. He died August 20th, 1868, in Vulcan, Missouri. He married Melinda Skiles, who was born in Washington County, Tennessee. I am guessing Henry's father, Joseph, must have settled the land they were on. We have documents stating that it was Henry who actually received land grants for property in the soon-to-become Vulcan area. One of the grants is for the property where Joseph and Stacy originally settled. This property is currently owned by Cub and Pat Ruble. As you can tell, the Rubles moved many times over the generations. Each relocation seemed to provide a better life for their families. Many questions remain unanswered relative to their journey from Switzerland to Missouri. I am sure more information exists related to this incredible journey spanning over 250 years. I'm going to end this video here, as the balance of the Ruble family lineage is noted on the Avery Ruble video. Thank you for watching.